Hey, Explorers.
Hello, everybody.
We've traveled 13 countries to 13 countries.
What?
Gone over 200,000 miles.
We've done 15 puzzles that we didn't know what we were doing.
We're going to talk about the amazing race coming up next on
D&G Explorers.
I'm Derek.
I'm Gregory.
Come join us on our adventures on
D&G Explorers. Jelly.
There's no more music playing.
Oh, the music's over? Oh, okay. I was rocking to the beat. Whoop, whoop.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Wednesday. It is April 17th.
Explorers.
April 17th. Can you believe that, Greg? We are
It
halfway
is.
through the month. So
Anchors away.
the premise of this show is
We've been on the Amazing Race. You just didn't know it.
no, if we were to be on a disclaimer, if we were going to be on the Amazing Race,
We would be in trouble.
we could not announce it. So
And we'd be in trouble.
yes, because it's supposed to be secret until they announce
I mean,
that you've been on the
we'd be in
Amazing
trouble if we were on the Amazing Race because, we would need a map or something, a compass. We don't know where we're going. I mean, Argentina is just right there.
Say,
so
we have our strengths and weaknesses. Greg's weakness is he's geographically challenged.
Oh, no.
It's interesting that Argentina is next to every single country to him.
No, it's just a funny joke that we always say. He'll go, Derek will say, yes, it's next to Argentina. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
But why don't we welcome in, as we get on with the show, why don't we welcome into the Explorers, Greg? And see who's here tonight.
We are going dry. We're just drinking good old-fashioned water because right after the show, Derek has to go close. So I said, you are not drinking and then going to work and driving.
Yeah, our
big no-no.
Closing manager called out sick. He's going to be out for a few days. So,
so no dilly-dilly.
We need to run business. So I have to go and close. Which only 2.5 hours. So that's not bad. But Greg, welcome in our Explorers.
We have Anthony Simone, who was the first one here.
The mitigator with us on Nautical Nurse Nancy.
Yep. Matthew and Lauren Vlogs.
Hey, guys.
Ann Hanley. Waypoint.
I don't know.
What's that? Waypoint Explorers. Can't keep doing that. Jamie Wilhite, Cheryl Wendick Down, Danny D, the spectacular supporter, Destination Fun, Surfer Girl 326, Nick Torres, self-proclaimed Captain Billy J Travels,
Not the real captain.
Amethyst Haze Adventures, Sherry Awesome Sunsets Travel. Where am I at? Mary Ellen Dillon. Where am I at? Did I say Jamie Wilhite? Carla McClendon, Renee Overbeck. No. Where were we? You're gonna throw me off.
Sorry.
It's okay. Najima Brown is here. Sorry. Nautical Nurse Nancy. What were you saying? Yeah, for?
I forgot one.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh.
I said Destination Fun. Just Dave. But thank you for helping out. And you're going to throw me off. I think we are all caught up. So thank you,
yes,
everybody. Yes. If we miss anybody, we will see them as they come in more.
So you guys, here is our dilemma. We are avid fans of the reality show. Wow.
You know what? You're going to need plenty of water on the show.
The reality show, The Amazing Race. For those of you who might not be familiar, because not everyone on here is reality TV fans, but The Amazing Race, Greg, do you remember when it premiered? Here's a card for you if you don't remember.
Well, I was nonchalantly looking down, but then you just made it obvious. You know, I don't know when it premiered. Oh, wait, it's right here. 9/5/2001. Now I can't make it look nonchalant anymore.
So they're currently in their season 36. So that means obviously it hasn't been 36 years. They've had more than one season a year certain times.
This is like the only reality TV show that we actually watch.
Besides watching the Buffalo Bills, this is
that's not reality TV.
This is my must-see TV.
Yes, we're very choosy on what shows we watch on TV. I don't really watch a lot of shows on actual TV. I will watch it more on streaming, especially if I have missed shows. Greg looks and sounds drunk. How tipsy is he?
Welcome in,
Sean
Sean.
Martin. Welcome. I'm not drunk at all, actually.
That's
that might just be my normal voice. You know, this is actually vodka. No, it's not. But yeah, we don't watch a lot of shows, but reality TV wise, this is what we watch. I started to watch Survivor and then I just got out of that and have been with Amazing Race, you know, all the way ever since. So
there you go. He's also another avid fan. And not only do they have the American version, they have, I believe it's Canada. It's all across. There's so many different countries that have their own ones. But to date, not including this year, there was 725 contestants. Obviously, I looked this up. With the 26 they added for this season,
there on your card there.
There's now
781.
No, 51. 26 and 25.
Oh, I
51.
can't. Okay, sorry, I can't read.
Another weakness for Greg.
No,
is math.
I was just looking at the cards and it came out so natural because I can't read your handwriting. I wasn't even thinking. So yes, 751. Okay.
So and the third weakness, Greg can't read without his glasses. So
that's not true. I told her my eyes were bothering me because I think it's these bright lights, and I sit in front of a computer all day, so I wear computer glasses. But Yeah, I told him I might end up having to get LASIK or something at some point.
Yeah, it was in 2022 on the Halloween cruise.
Awesome.
Yes. So the Amazing Race is, depending what season you're looking at, because they obviously don't do the same thing every year. They try to mix it up and try different things. There's been anywhere from 10 teams to 13 teams, with the exception of one. I think it was season 10. They had the family season, where there were families completing. It's
that one didn't do very well, though. That one flopped, and they haven't done it since.
Well, they didn't travel outside the U.S. either. It was all mainland.
But it was just families. Too big, because it was a family, like immediate family groups, and groups like that are just too big for each team.
Jamie, I'm about 40 minutes away from work too. And Sherry's also an Amazing Race and reality TV fan.
I was going to say that. We were actually just watching an old season before we came on.
Yes. We were watching season 21. But so there's 13 teams. There's 2 people on a team. They have yet to do it yet, where they don't combine people who've never met each other before. So you have to have a previous some kind of relationship. Wait,
what?
Like a relationship, like friends. You can't be like, oh, sign me up with someone.
I thought you meant the teams have to know each other, like other teams.
No.
Like,
if we were to form,
you have to go with someone that you know.
Yes, it can't be a total stranger.
Get somebody off the street. Hey, you want to go on a show with me?
Yeah, and then you find out that person's missing after the show.
Oh my gosh, that took a turn of events. Life with Lucia and Glenn.
Welcome in.
Howdy, everyone.
Howdy.
You said howdy, everyone. So I'm saying howdy.
Yes. So they do different things on the Amazing Race. They have challenges that they do. They'll have pit stops. They'll leave in one country, the US. It can be different places that they leave. And it doesn't necessarily that the race is going to finish back in that same city.
It usually finishes within the States somewhere.
Yes, they come back home.
It starts in the States normally and goes around through countries and then comes back full circle. They have some big flubs in this series as well that we're going to go over.
Oh, yes.
And they look painful.
And they'll have, so when they go to a pit stop, the last 2 years.
Well, explain what a pit stop is.
Pit stop is basically where you rest. So you might end up, you might do 3 or 4 tasks, 1 task, 2 tasks. I don't know it depends how they break it up and what they have to do and how far they have to travel. But it's basically their resting point for the day. And if a team is in last place, previously, this year and last year, they changed it, but there was a chance that, you would be eliminated, but there was some non-elimination rounds, and they would have anywhere from 2 to 3 non-elimination rounds. This season and last season, there is no non-elimination round. So if you're in last place, it's bye-bye. So I don't know if I particularly like that. I think it might add a little bit of drama, because when you step onto the mat and you meet Phil, that's the dream, to meet Phil. When you step on that map, you're like, if you think you're last, you're like, is it over? Is it not over? Do I get to go home?
I thought I heard one of the kitties crying.
No, I thought it was the geese. Mary Ellen said a friend from Nashville was in season 22 and season 24.
I was gonna say,
they must have done an all-star.
I didn't see the 22 because the heart was covering it. So yeah, this season, if you don't make it, if you're last, you're last. They don't have any things where the next show that you have to do an extra task. Yep. What do they call those? The roadblocks? So they have have things. They have detours. So if there's a challenge, detour, there's a detour, and that is basically a choice between 2 tasks. Each one has its pros and cons. And then there's also a roadblock that they might run into. A roadblock is only one person of that team is able to complete that. Sometimes they have a double roadblock. So if on part of it between the next pit stop, if I do one and that says the person who didn't do the previous roadblock has to do this one.
So there's also a speed bump. Yes. So speed bump, if I remember right, a speed bump
in a long time.
is where is that Nick? Is that where I'm getting confused here. Is that where you have to do both tasks? If I remember right, you get caught. I thought you were hitting that. So yes, there's a lot of different things to this game. Greg and I have always joked that we'll probably be selected and we'll be the first team get eliminated from the airport that we won't get out. But you were saying something else, Greg. Oh wow, they did pretty well and finished fourth.
That's what I was trying
and second.
To tell you.
Huh.
There. Excuse me. I wouldn't be able to do the eating challenges as I'm such a picky eater. Amethyst Hayes Adventure says.
Yes, and they do have some, like we were watching season 21. They
have some nasty things, but it's nasty to us, but not to the other country. It's a delicacy to them.
They were in Indonesia, and they had to eat frogs' fallopian tubes.
How would you know what the fallopian tube would even look like from a frog? The frog is so small to begin with.
They had it in like a fruit.
Almost, the fallopian tube would be like small.
It was in this little kind of fruit thing, and they had to eat it. So it's not always like that. They don't have always disgusting challenges.
I thought one time they had to eat bull's testicles at one point.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they did too.
That would just be a meaty thing, I guess. You got to do what you got to do. Just pop the food in your mouth and eat it as quick as you can.
Exactly.
I know they've had to eat insects and a lot of foreign things. What we think is foreign is not to them, like bugs and insects and stuff. That's all protein to them. So, I mean, just try to eat it and swallow it down as best you can without choking or vomiting.
Oh, okay.
Roland
Nick.
John, welcome.
Welcome in, Roland. Okay, that's only on the non-elimination rounds, though. The speed bump is what they have to do. Oh
my God.
So Nick was saying no speed bump is the one that the last team from the last leg needs to do before continuing on. But since this season and last season, there is no non-elimination round. But you're correct. On the other ones, they would have to do that.
Life Adventure Show, welcome.
Welcome in, Tammy.
Miss 17 minutes. Did y'all announce anything important? Well, we're just going over Amazing Race. Roland, not anything important, but Roland Jong for $1 million. It's surprising what you would eat. That's true.
Waypoint.
I had a beer with bowl quizzicals in it. What's a quizzical?
I am afraid to ask.
A quizzical. Okay. Gregory needs to go to Fear Factor if they have it again. You know what? They're not going to put you in anything that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Like tarantulas. I've had a tarantula crawl on me before. As long as they can't get in my mouth or my nose or my ears or my eyes or whatever, I'm fine. I'll do it. That's fine. Snakes, as long as they're not going to put you with venomous snakes. I've had a corn snake go down my shirt one time when I was in second grade, and that didn't scare me. So reptiles, bugs, insects, all that stuff. I used to play with bugs when I was little, slugs, snails, all that stuff does not bother me.
Greg didn't have any friends.
Fine with Fear Factor.
Greg didn't have any friends, but he was like Snow White with insects and reptiles.
Wow.
They all came out
there. Snow White. Am I a male version of Snow White with the bugs and insects? Am I singing, oh, here they come?
Quizzes are like tests.
What? I had a beer with bull testicles in it once. Is that what you're trying to say? You can say the word testicles. It's fine.
Margaret Wilson, welcome for joining us. Good to see you.
Margaret Wilson, thank you. I'm sorry that you came in right when I was saying what I just said, but they also have things that throw you off. Like if we were on the show and they say, oh, you are number 1 or you're number 4, whatever. And then you're like, ooh, yay. Oh, but you're not done yet. We still have another leg of the race. It's like if I was panting and needing water, I'd be like, oh God.
That happened on the first one.
We would go for it.
Now, this year, a couple of good things that I've really enjoyed. The episodes are an hour and a half long. It's actually shown today. We won't be able to watch it today because we record it.
Yeah.
But it's on. It's the Survivor is on before it.
I could watch it, but I'm not going to watch it without you. So
Survivor,
I'm not mean like that.
Survivor is on beforehand. It's an hour and a half. I believe Survivor is an hour and a half, and then it goes into the Amazing Race. And I love it being an hour and a half because normally in past years they would do a 2-hour premiere, sometimes a 2-hour one in the middle of it, and at the end it would be a 2-hour finale. So I love the fact that each episode is an hour and a half.
Billy J said Gregory is oogie boogie with bugs coming out of him. Oh wow, because I would play with bugs.
Those are Rocky Mountain oysters. Yes.
Ann Hanley says snakes I don't mind, snakes, but insects I hate. My younger sister let her juice bottle out my windowsill when we were younger, and my bed was full of ants. No. Disgusting. Oh wow.
Yes. So one of the questions we want your support. So we love the show. It's something that we've talked about. We think we would be fine because when we travel, we actually travel very well. We've had to overcome things through going across, whatever. We've had issues, and we've always remained positive.
Yeah,
we've always had a positive outlook.
There's big differences that you're gonna be on national TV, so everybody sees everything you do. You're on camera, and you got to be careful how you react and what you say, and they'll bleep you out. I mean, we're all humans, so it's like if you say something, then you say it.
Yeah. But we've been going anywhere from 3 to...
Hey, Ben from PTV, welcome.
Welcome in, Ben. We've gone anywhere from, for cruises, 3 to 4 a year. And 1 year in 2022, I think we went on 6 cruises. So
that won't be happening again anytime soon.
We really have not had a window, to my point, of if we wanted to book the Amazing Race, because when we book cruises like almost 2 years out in advance. There is no window for us to slip something in. So now, since we bought this house because of things that changed in our lives, and we had to look to a place from renting to buying, we thought
it might be a possibility, but you also have to take a month off because it's a month of possible filming. If you make it that long,
you're right. It's anywhere, depending where they go. It's anywhere. Filming is anywhere from 21 to 30 days. But if you're supposed to be gone a month and suddenly you show up after a week at home, they're going to know you didn't win the Amazing Race.
Oh yeah. So you have to take it off.
They keep you at a resort. So if anything, you're either celebrating at a resort. I thought they traveled around with them, but apparently they stay at a resort and then they go to the final destination and they greet and they wave the final competitors that come in. Who
would yell at who for reading the map wrong in the car? I know how to read a map, so don't even go there.
I thought about that. Greg would have to drive, and
oh my gosh! And you're gonna be the passenger or backseat driver because the cameraman would be in the front seat.
Yes, and I am a backseat driver.
Well, you're a front seat passenger driver. So just to give you a little idea of how he is like that at times, we were in Vegas and Maddie and Scotty were with us, and I'm looking for directions on how to get to places, and Derek would tell me at the last minute at times, or you would. Or I would get several answers from different people. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, just one person, please give me an answer. And it's like last minute and we're in traffic and I'm being told where to go, like where to turn and everything. And it's like last minute decisions. I'm like, you can't do that in the road. So you can't do that.
Ben, you're right. And by the way, you guys, well, I remember, Ben is from Peppa Tree Villa. They go live on Mondays. This last Monday, check out their channel. They're big with Hallmark. They have all these at the village. They have all these different trees. I think they're going to have 40 Christmas trees this year in their house that they call the village. And they were going over the Christmas, the Dream Book came out for Hallmark. So check out that episode. That's always one of their funnest episodes that they put on. They always put on great shows anyway, but go and check it out because it's always fun to see what ornaments are coming out this year. Already they're planning on what's coming out.
I have driven a stick shift before. It's been a while though. Derek might have to drive the stick shift at that point. So
yeah, it's been a while for me
at
too.
the mercy of me
Yeah.
reading the map.
Amethyst Hayes, I believe Amy, she says, so you're telling me to get on Amazing Race, lose, and stay at a resort for a month? That is pretty smart. And then I won't have to eat anything gross.
But what's the point? You want to win the $1 million that you get within a 30-year time span.
So, Billy, good question. Can't you just use Google Maps? You cannot have any technology. You can go up to someone and say, can I use your phone? Can you tell me where this is?
That's what I was going to say, because I've seen them using phones, but it's other people's phones.
Yes,
you can't have your own devices.
Correct.
And don't ever, for the love of God, don't ever, ever, ever drop your bag with your passport in it and lose it, because you ain't going nowhere after that. We've seen people on shows drop their bag, and it is so painful to see them do it.
They leave it, or they leave it behind.
You want to yell at the TV and tell them, but it's not going to help. And they get so far, and they're like, "Oh, where's my bag?"
Yeah,
and they're gonna go all the way back to try to get their passport.
So on our thumbnail, you'll see where there's like an envelope that says The Amazing Race. You open it up, and that tells you what your clue is going to be for that not excursion, but that part of the leg. I lost my train of thought. So this is going to be really good if I'm going to be on the show and I'm going to leave my thought. Oh, the key is
I finish your thought anyway for you.
The key is you have to read the clue.
Yes.
Because I can't tell you how many times we've seen it that they don't read the clue correctly and they're doing something completely wrong. On this season, they've done that several times. Yeah, or they left their not in this season, but they'll leave their clue somewhere. Actually, that did happen this year. Something happened. They forgot something. The map. They forgot a map. And they do Amazing Race does that. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, they'll focus the camera into what they left. We're and then you hear the music, ring, it's all dramatic and everything. Or they read the instruction wrong. Yes. What?
Tammy says, I tell Steven to drive all the time because he makes me change directions.
Yep. This show will also push you to your limits.
Yeah.
Things that you're afraid of, you better get over really quick. Otherwise, you are not going to win.
I would not do Naked and Afraid, Billy.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't want to get hypothermia or get bit by something no. I've seen stuff on that show. What happens?
Growing up, I drove a stick shift, but we're talking back in the 80s, and then that car got stolen after about a couple of years. So I drove a stick a long time ago, but do they even make stick shifts? Well, they do in different countries, but so I don't know how I would do it, but it's pretty cool. Greg and I were talking about it. I go, yeah, Greg, you go first, second, third, fourth, and then reverse.
What was that?
Yeah,
you said it's in the shape of an H,
and then
no, but you're not even doing an H right now. You're just zigzagging all around.
Second,
that's
third,
not what you just did.
Reverse.
Is that what he just did? He's all like this. I don't think an H looks like this. Pepper Tree Villa, welcome. The Down Under Cruisers, welcome. Roland Jung, I can't believe you said that. Are you willing to backstab? You guys are too nice. Well, that part, thank you for saying that. Or are you? I can't believe you said that. I told Derek I would not change my character, and I would have a good judge of character. I usually have a pretty good judge of character to begin with, but I would not be one of those people that backstabs, because that's not going to get you anywhere. We've seen it where people create an alliance, they help each other out, and yes, in the end, it is a competition. So you help them out.
We'll talk about how we
so much. Well, no, I'm saying it now. You help them out so much, but you also want it to be for your benefit as well. But you're also still being nice.
We'll talk about that.
Well, we're just talking about it now.
I know, but we'll go more into it because I have things to say on that.
Lindsay Coostguard, welcome.
Pepper Tree Villa, who I was mentioning about their show on there, that is their channel name on there. I don't know if a commercial is going to pop in, guys. That's on the live show. I know it'll pop in on the replay. If it pops in, I try to do it differently this week. Hopefully, a commercial won't pop in. But those of you who are creators, please put creators in there. And if you guys are unfamiliar with some of the channels in there, please check them out, because we are all about supporting each other and getting people exposed, because we like to expose. Not like that, Greg. Calm yourself.
Well, the way you say it, I just was looking at a comment. Oh yeah, Waypoint Explorers, hashtag back rubs, not backstabs. Well, yeah, we'll just.
They always have people who can't drive the stick shift, and on Survivor they have people who can't make a fire. Drives me crazy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's another show. Tammy has always been telling me about that. The Circle, as a catfish with Steven. That a lot of different interesting stuff. Creator, great people are putting all that in there. Billy, we like to expose.
I would have to push myself. Well, we would both have to push ourselves to our limits. And
yes.
we would.
So let's talk about that. We have fears.
Yes,
what are your fears? Being naked in front of people.
Trying to say stuff right now.
Greg doesn't like to be naked.
Oh my gosh. I don't think they ever have you do that.
Yeah. There was a season where they were naked. There was.
I don't know what season you were watching, but like bungee jumping or parachuting, I've never done that. I would be scared out of my wits, but for $1 million, if we were that far ahead, I would just have to. I would put it in God's hands. Whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm serious. It's like, okay, you're at this point, the pinnacle point of the race, and you have so many legs left of the race. Are you going to make this stop you from winning, or are you going to push yourself? Yes, CBS does have standards. There's rules to this show. So, but yeah, they do things on this show that you would have to push yourself.
They did. There was one season that they did something. I don't know if they were completely naked, but oh yes, I believe it was in season 14. They were running. They had a run in their underwear, is what they did. So they were in Russia and they were running in their underwear. So if you guys remember that, we'll talk a little bit about some of our favorite cast. But Luke, who was with Luke and Margie, I think it was in season 14. I'll just say they were my favorite team of all the different teams. They had one thing where they had to run. It might have been season 18. It was because they were in a couple of seasons. They were in Russia and were running like on.
But they weren't naked.
They were in their underwear.
That's not naked. Well, you don't get completely naked on the show.
It wasn't too revealing. Well, some of it whenever
Luke is deaf. Their mother and son. I'm sorry. Yes, mother and son. Luke is deaf. He was a very sweet person. They actually got to go on the show twice because I forget, it was like a favorite show or something where they bring back people's favorites, and they were one of them. What?
Sean says, have you ever run in a pair of budgie smugglers? No, we have not run in a pair of
bungee smugglers. Budgie. What's a budgie smuggler?
Little hammocks.
Oh no, a banana hammock? No.
All right, so we covered that.
Yes, no parachuting naked for sure. When Doug and I went on Disney Cruise Line in 2005, many of the guests thought we had won the cruise for being on The Amazing Race. They said we looked like a team from an early season of the show. That's cool. And I always thought,
I remember you guys saying that, and I'm trying to think of what team it was. So what? Well, let me finish up in terms of fears. Of your fears are what? I'm sorry, I don't know.
I already went over that.
Okay, my fear is I got 3 fears in my life.
I said parachuting. I said bungee jumping. The fear of the cord snapping. Because I just weigh so much.
It only happened once.
Wow, thanks. They do a lot of crazy stuff that looks fun, but like where they raise you up to the side and they let you go. It's like a giant swing in a canopy or a canyon. That would be very scary, but I would have to do it.
So yes, I have 3 fears, and yes, they might be silly, but my 3 fears are sharks, bridges, and clowns. I always joke that the day that I'm going to
Oh my
meet
gosh.
my end, I'm going to be going over a bridge. There's going to be a clown on the bridge. I'm going to scream. I'm going to drive over the bridge and get eaten by a shark.
Oh yeah.
That is how my obituary
You're so stop. You're so funny.
read. But yeah, I'm not particularly excited like doing not the bungee. What do they call that? I guess it is the bungee jumping. I would not be a fan on that.
They had that one person, that one girl that would refuse to go on the big, excuse me, one of the biggest water slides. I think it was it was in
they were at Atlantis.
Yes, in
I don't know if they were in
Nassau.
I don't know if they were in Nassau or another Atlantis.
I thought it was that.
They have them in a few different areas in the world.
Well, she refused to go on it, and I don't know if she actually ended up doing it or not. I think they got taken off the show.
Puppetry, I would push myself to the limits, and I would do things that I wouldn't normally.
Well, that's what I was saying too. We would have to. What's the point of going on the show?
I would even hug a clown if I had to.
Wow.
I might be crying.
I don't think there's going to be a clown, but our luck, you never know.
Yeah. Don't say that too loud. If you get on me, we'll have to face those things. Yeah. So some of the places, like when we talked about are like going on to different places, I don't do well in humidity.
Neither do I.
California boys here. I was born in England. Don't have a whole lot of humidity in England, but most of my life has been here in California. There's very little humidity out here.
Oh my gosh, Billy J.
So when we go back to Florida, what the heck was that?
I don't know.
When we go out to Florida, I do not do well. And you know,
well, it depends what time of the year in Florida.
Yeah, because we got 37 minutes. Okay. So Greg, talk about some of the places that you would like to visit.
Well, did you read Billy J's joke? Why did the shark refuse to cross the bridge with the clown? Because it heard the clown was fantastic at yelling jawsome jokes.
Oh my God.
Haha.
That's good, Billy.
Anne Hanley, I don't like clowns, but not afraid of them. I loved parasailing, so I would be okay with any height stuff, but I would never do it anyway. I'd love to cheer you guys on, though.
Aww.
Well, thank you. Yeah, parasailing we actually would like to do. Parachuting, though, is totally different going out of a plane. Yeah, it would be a tandem jump for sure, because that's how they would do it. You'd have to be with the cameraman, or the cameraman I think is by themselves, and then you have the tandem jump, the person that jumps with you.
Carla says don't come to Florida in the summer. So Carla, we went to Florida one year in end of July, beginning of August, and we were, I think it was MGM Studios at the time. It wasn't Hollywood Studios. And when I was walking down one of the areas, people were like staring at me, and they were like when I walked by, they were like, I'm thinking, okay, there's two things.
You look white as a ghost.
There's two things going on here. Either they think I'm an actor, or there's something wrong with me.
You look like
and I said, hey guys, I said, hey guys, is there something wrong with me? And our friend said, it was Eddie. Eddie goes, you need to go to the bathroom. It looks like you're going to pass out. And that was like at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I do not do well. So yeah, when we go to Florida, we tend to go either our cruises are like, there's something going on outside. It's either September, October, or we'll go later than through February. I don't know if we've gone much after that when it gets really hot.
Lindsay Kuzgard, welcome.
You already said that, Greg, but welcome again.
She said, I missed the beginning. Are you guys trying out for or going to be cast on Amazing Race? We're talking about it, but
yes,
if we were
I want to do it.
If we were cast, we couldn't say anything.
Yeah, we couldn't say anything.
I didn't say I don't want to do it. I'm saying we need to find a time to do it.
Yeah, well, it'll tell you when you sign up for it. It says you have to be available to do it within a certain amount of time. Renee says she loves the humidity. But Greg, where would you like places in the world that you would love to visit as being part of the Amazing Race?
Well, I don't know how much we would see of it because we're going to be in a race, but I would like to go to Ireland and Scotland and Greenland and New Zealand, a lot of lands there. I think also another thing that I would probably have a hard time doing that they've done is climbing up the sides of buildings, or well, not really jumping down a building, like when you're on, propelling, when you're on the line and you're like jumping and jumping and jumping. As long as I didn't look down, I think I would be fine with that. But I mean, there's a lot of places in the world that we haven't done yet, and I don't even know if they have to be allowed to go to those places ahead of time. They make sure that everything's set up for that kind of thing. Yeah, where would you want to go?
Those places too, but like Germany, the Czech Republic. I don't even call it the Czech Republic anymore. Serbia. They've changed so many countries over there.
I don't know if they would even, if they let people. Some places they don't let you go.
Yeah, like they're not going to take you to anywhere unsafe.
Yeah, if there's things going on in the world like there are right now, you're not going to go to those places. So,
Sean's asking if we would go to Australia. Someday we would like to go.
I would love to go.
I want to go to the French Open. I want to go see the French Open in Australia. I want to go to the Australian Open. The tennis.
The thing that I would be afraid of are the giant spiders that are the size of little dogs. Those are scary. They have some weird stuff in Australia. Giant spiders. I don't think so. That I would be afraid of. Anything half the size of my body? No.
Yeah. I'd like to go to places in China, Japan. Tammy put Japan in there. Yeah. I would be afraid. In the 80s, I was fascinated by India. A lot of the music, like one of my favorite groups was the Thompson Twins. They were had a Indian kind of theme with their music. A lot of the stuff at the time was kind of like Indiana Jones and stuff like that. It had like an Indian, a lot of influence. But I would tell you now, I would be afraid to kind of go to those countries. Whenever they show them on The Amazing Race, they're like hectic. There's like so much going on. It would be like mentally overwhelming.
Waypoint said, my skin loves the humidity, but nothing else does. Can't just leave that one alone. Down Under Cruiser said, if you came to Australia Open, you would be in our hometown.
Oh, cool.
That is awesome.
In Melbourne.
And being that we are talking about Australia, I do want to say I'm very sorry for what's happened in Australia this past weekend. I think it was in a mall.
No, I didn't even hear anything.
Yeah, they had a basically a crazy person going around. There was someone that was able to stop the person, and that person's been on the news a lot as a hero. So, but just praying for them and hoping that everybody's okay. Yeah, that was able to get out.
Definitely. We got about 17 minutes left on there. So, Greg, let's talk about some of our favorite seasons. Some of the memorable teams. Season 1, it started out with Joe and Bill. They were in a couple of them. They were called Team Guido.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I hope
they were very bougie. Bougie is the one word that you would use for them.
I hope Arnie, I hope that's not the team they're referring you to from The Amazing Race.
I don't think so. They look nothing like them.
No, they don't.
They enjoy the finer things in life, which is fine.
Yes.
finer. But you're on a race. So going out getting fine wines and stuff probably shouldn't be your priority.
In fact, they had an issue. I don't know.
Or in your schedule.
When they were on the second time for the All-Stars, I believe they had an issue where they went to the road. They had a pass, I think, to go to the roadblock, if I remember this correctly. If there's anyone that remembers, they decided to go and relax somewhere, enjoy like a spa, I think.
Oh my gosh.
And then when they went there, if they weren't the last team to show up at the pit stop, they were one of the last teams to show up at the pit stop.
Why would you do that?
And the faces, like the look on their faces, like, what?
Yeah, wide awakening right there. Yeah. It's like, wake up! This is not the time to do this.
Yeah.
Down Under Cruisers, I don't know if I heard about the church, but both of those situations are horrible.
Yes,
very, very sorry.
Mary said, I went to India. There is definitely a lot going on. It's a wild west driving there. Seems like anything goes. Yeah.
I think the thing that would hurt me emotionally is going to third world countries and seeing how people have to live and how
it's affected teams when they go see it.
Yeah, it's like seeing how they have to live, seeing how we live, and how we, a lot of people take things for granted. And I definitely don't want to have that feeling of taking things for granted. I feel very blessed to have what we have here in the States, but going there and seeing that, it's going to hit you. It's going to be an eye opener for sure, especially when it comes to little kids and seeing how they live and stuff. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So as I'm laughing, I'm reading Tammy's comment. So
I know you weren't laughing at that.
She said Steven goes to sleep with wine, so that wouldn't work for us.
Oh my gosh.
So let's talk about some of the other seasons. Season 2. Some of the memorable teams a memorable team was Oswald and Danny. Greg didn't really remember them. But I don't remember what their team was called, but if they weren't called this, they should have been called Team Prada. Because the way the guy said it, Team Prada, the way he is with his accent.
From North to Neverland, welcome.
And so they were another kind of bougie team that liked the finer things in life.
And we don't mean to say bougie like being bad. It's just that's how how you would describe them. Yeah. But that's not the time to do that kind of stuff. It's like you're on a race. Look what happened to that one team. They almost got kicked out.
Angela, you're fired. She said, "Oh my God, I lost track of time."
Welcome, Angela Nemechek.
So let's go through. I got a couple of other seasons I want to talk about. Greg.
Well, there was the one with the Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Not the Rescue Rangers.
Not there yet. Let me drive.
Well, I'm just telling you, they were cool too.
Let me navigate. You're driving the car. I'm navigating the map.
You're navigating with your 3x5 cards.
Rob and Amber, a team they either loved or despised. They were from Big Brother, and I was kind of always had animosity that they came over from another series to go to this one. I thought, why don't you give this other people a chance to be on it?
Funny
but
moments.
there was a good reason. They were actually a very good team, but they were also a very ruthless team too. But they were from Big Brother, and they were in a couple of seasons, I know, because they were in the All Stars too. The All Stars was in season 11. Luke and Margie, what we talked about earlier, they were my favorite. In fact, I haven't texted him in a while, but we were message on, I don't know if it was Twitter or Facebook yep. that we would chat with each other. Also from that season 14, Mel and Mike White. Mike White is we see him on.
You'll have to look all these people up because they have no idea who we're talking about.
But he was the one on the Oscars, and he actually won an Oscar for something within the last few years. And so some of these people that you see on The Amazing Race, they actually branch out to other things. There was a guy
that does the commercials.
Well, he was
on Big Bang Theory a lot,
and he was in one of him and his twin brother was on The Amazing Race. There was season 15. That was a really good season. That had Brian and Erica. She was a Miss. I don't know if she was Miss America, but she was she was in one of the pageants. I don't know if she won it, but they were a good team. Zev and Justin. He had Greg. You say it correctly. Say it, Greg. What is?
Say what?
Zev and Justin. I said it was a condition, and you said that's not what it is.
Oh, he had Asperger's.
There you go, because I always say that wrong. And then the Harlem Globetrotters were on there, Big Time and Easy, and they also were in a couple of seasons too. They were on another All Stars event. Season 21 is what Greg's talking about, and we watched. We were watching it before the show started. That was season 21, and that was James and James. Yes,
they're both former Chippendales, but they're really good friends. And I think
we saw James. I say James Vaughn. Greg says Vaughan.
We saw him in Vegas.
Yes,
like from far away.
But Greg creeped a little bit.
I did not,
because he walked right in front of him, and he was like,
I didn't walk right in front of him. They were like feet away, like way away, sitting, and I said, is that them? And I was wanting to see if it was them, but it was too dark, but I'm pretty sure it was them. Michael
Billy.
Spoiled Mama. Good
Welcome
evening,
in.
all. Welcome.
Yes, it was a guy that played Zach Penny's boyfriend on Big Bang Theory.
Yes. Penny.
Yes.
Penny.
Oh, and then one of the some of the best moments of Amazing Race. There's been so many like memorable stuff, but probably the number one was I had to look her name up. Poor Claire, and they were in some place in Europe, and they had like these medieval things where they had like slingshots.
Oh,
and they had a watermelon, and they were trying to like stretch them out and shoot them across a field, and they had like a knight in armor on, like it was almost like a scarecrow, and they were trying to hit it to get it, and if they hit it, then they would get the clue, the next clue. Well, when she did it, something happened.
It backfired.
It shot off, and it
right back.
It came back and it hit her in the face. So if you're not sure what we're talking about, look up Amazing Race, watermelon to the face.
Hopefully
and that
she didn't break her nose.
Oh, that was like,
you could see the pain.
Yeah, that was tragic. That would be something that would probably happen to me.
Oh my gosh, God forbid.
And then the other one, which one of the hilarious ones, was the cheese, where they had to roll cheese down the hill, and they were like rolling down, tossing, and they were trying to keep the cheese. They were supposed to keep it stacked, like drag it down, but then it would start to roll, and then it was just like one of the hilarious things.
The one that everybody hates is the Hail Bay, the rolls, the big rolls of hay.
Yeah, when they roll them up like a giant wheel.
I thought you had to roll them out.
Yes.
You had to push them, and those suckers are heavy, and that's why people hated that one, because I think you had to look for a clue in those big rolls of hay.
Jamie, have a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. So question for us. We haven't auditioned, but
we've thought of it.
And we thought, what do you guys think? And what, as we get going on for the last 8 minutes of the show, every team has its own little shtick.
Awesome, Mary Ellen Dillon. She met James Vaughan a few times, it looks like.
Oh, cool.
He's a nice guy. Awesome.
So, Greg, as we wrap it up, focus. I remember
I'm reading.
I got the map.
Yes, well,
and you're driving, so
it's fine.
So, what do you guys think would make us a team that would you want to watch us? And how can we expose ourselves and sell ourselves to?
I ain't exposing anything or selling anything
of the show. Yes, that's the one. There, when they had to roll the haze out, and there was one where it took them forever, and they were wiped out because it was physically demanding.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just agreeing with it. That was the episode. But yes, so we're trying to think what would be.
Life Adventure Show says I'd watch. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching.
But we're trying to
other people so that
we're trying
watch
to think. Overall, Greg and I work well together. We travel well together. That doesn't mean we will have our little squabbles. I like to be right. Greg likes to be wrong.
Wow. Well, newsflash, you're not always right. Sorry.
Anne says no fighting.
Oh, there won't be any fighting. I'll just be like, okay, well, I'm going to go this way because I know that's where we're going. So I'll see you at the finish line.
But I'm also very competitive. Doing a lot of sports growing up, I'm very competitive. A perfect example, when I watch football, when the Bills lose, I'm crying. And I'm outside throwing things in the neighborhood.
Oh yes,
Greg.
I've done sports growing up too, so it's not like I don't have any competitiveness in me as well.
Greg is like, it's just a game, and I said,
well, it is.
I said that alone just describes how wrong you are.
How what?
How wrong you are.
No.
Welcome, Caleb from Cruising Travel. No fighting allowed.
There's more worse things in life to be mad about than losing a game. You just let things slide. It's not worth your energy, is what I'm saying. You just have fun and stay with the positive.
Billy, can they have
I would not be crying a lot
on The Amazing Race.
What? Oh, they won't let us have Dilly, I don't think. Okay, I already knew what you meant on that one too. You know what? Yeah.
So yeah, we're really going. This is our, like I said, this is our favorite reality show. And because we had 4 cruises this year that were canceled, that we were unable to go on because of the life changes of renting to buying a house. And our previous land owner, what do they call it? The landlord passed away. So we either had to get another house to rent, or buy a house, and just it was about the same cost. So we said, let's buy a house. So by doing that, it changed a lot. So we now have free time. I think our companies would work with us to get the time off in order to do it.
Don't think we said hi to Caleb from Cruising the World Travel.
Welcome
I didn't see him, but thank you. Welcome.
They said no fighting.
I think I would like it with all the culture and all the different things you have to do. There's memorization sometimes you would have to do.
Yes, that's a good thing at the very end.
Dance.
Usually.
Well, I'm just saying, even throughout it, you have to memorize dance moves at times, or you have to sometimes, take things from one area to another, then back to another, or you have to make food and do it the right way, and have it checked. And then if it's good, then you give it to the people to eat or whatever it is. Excuse me. So there's a lot of things that you have to do on the show.
And when they give you a clue, they don't really tell you like a detour. It'll kind of tell you. It won't tell you exactly what it is, what you're going to be doing. It'll kind of do it in like a poem kind of hinting at what it could be. And like on this season that they're showing, people thought, they were saying, wow, if I knew it was this, I would have had the other person do it because they're stronger at doing this than what they chose. So just because they say it, it might not seem like it is.
You have to psych yourself out sometimes with things that you're afraid of or you're not used to, because there's no preparation time. It's either you do it or you don't, or the other person does it. But if one person does one task, you have to do the other. You can't keep making the same person do it. Yeah. So be careful which one does what, because you're going to be stuck with the other one and you may not know what that one is.
And I think Greg and I, just the way we travel, we would keep things very, very positive. Yes, Anne says, I love the 2 guys currently on the show that keep getting first. They always are so positive. Yep. Yes, and it also helps, though, that they speak Spanish and they're in the Spanish-speaking country. So that has helped them tremendously. But you're right. I love the way they're running, too. Yeah, I'm not sure if is it Caesar and Ricky? It might be. I'm horrible with names, so I don't remember a lot of the names. I'd make you all biscuits and gravy, hash and steak eggs to show you Tennessee culture. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. But we have 2 minutes left.
Yes.
So would any of you go on The Amazing Race? Would you want to try it, or would you just be onlookers and watch the show?
But I think we are going to attempt, Greg. I mean, we don't even know if we would get selected.
We'll have to look at everything and see if
find out when it is
or not.
Yeah. I know some Spanish. I know if people cuss at me. I know that. Actually, I've struggled.
Yes, and muchas camisas, which means more t-shirts.
Y zapatos and pantalones.
Wow, and panties.
I know to say,
is that what that means?
I'm hungry, and where's the bathroom? That is the.
Speaking of that, we were wondering how you can use the bathroom if you have to. I guess you just go in a bush or something.
Some teams,
if you have to.
Some teams have worn diapers.
How do you know that for sure?
Because they were making fun of them. It was one of the teams that was kind of they were.
Oh my God, that's
very sassy team.
Could you imagine them doing that and being in a humid
you would hear
a humid climate? Oh my gosh, I'd be like, stay away from me, please.
You would hear, they would be running and you hear a
ew, stop. We are not ending our show on that note. That's so gross. That's like Dutch oven all over. That's ew.
But if those of you who have never watched The Amazing Race, we hope you guys would at least tune it in to see what it is. 36 seasons. It's been around a long time.
Angela, I'm going to leave that comment alone.
Thank you. I remember the diapers. Yes, it was a guy. It was an older guy who was very bossy towards his wife. And
I don't like that.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
I mean, the diapers might be a good idea, but it might be a very messy, smelly idea.
We're gonna have diapers, and they're gonna have D&G
Hey,
symbol
Mike
on
Woodbury.
We're gonna represent D&G by having D&G on the adult diaper.
They're not gonna see our diapers.
Well, maybe they will.
I don't think so. Mike, thank you for showing up.
I hope you're having a good time, Mike.
Yes, we are at the top of the hour, so
we will.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll be not dry. We'll be off for the next 2 weeks, but I've basically completed our second vlog. Whoa, hold on a sec. The second vlog of our NCL Encore series that we went to Alaska. So that one's going to come out either next Wednesday or
maybe we'll do a premiere.
Yes, we're going to do a premiere. So either one of those 2 weeks, but we will be traveling. So we won't be available to be on the show. So just kind of a heads up on that, but do expect a travel vlog from us. Finally, it's been a while since we've got one out. But I think that's it, Greg. So thank you. If any producers of the Amazing Erase are watching, our email is in the description. So please reach out to us. Yes.
Diapers and gear shifting. That's so wrong. Everybody have a good night.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Gregory.
If you forget our names, it's okay because I'm Little Explorer.
And I'm Big Explorer.
And as Walt Disney once said, we are just getting started. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a good night.